It's Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Obiajulu Ugbo in the building. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing.
Looking 16 as always.
I'm going to be 16, you know. That's how we roll.
How you doing?
So I'm doing great. I want to use this opportunity to say thank you to my customers for, supporting my business, my sales. They were just ordering and ordering and ordering. And even after sales, they were still, buying and asking me to give them sales price. So I was still attending to my customers. There's also something I'm doing now, which is to give my customers a loyalty card. So that anytime you are shopping with me, you have discount all year round, whether I'm doing sales or not, because you are a customer. So you would have bought to a certain amount before you get the loyalty card. And when my physical store sets up as well, you come in with the loyalty card and you have discount all year round. So thank you so much. I love the fact that you people are supporting Nigerian-owned businesses. Even my banana oil is selling out. Like, I have to start producing another batch soon.
I saw it on Instagram. So I really think that, for me, it was customer feedback. So I had to do a new policy starting from this new month, which is welcome to a new month, second half of the year.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So the customers are saying that I've bought 3 properties from you and I don't get any extra discount. So we now have repeated customers getting 5% discount because that way you reward. Yeah, but this one they had to ask. And some people don't ask. They get angry and they don't ask.
And they don't say anything.
Yeah, so I appreciate customers that give feedback because it's better than the customer that is angry with you
and will not say
anything. Yeah. But they just hold it in their mind. One person wrote a long list. I said, but why didn't you tell me? I was so angry. When you asked for this feedback, I said, I will tell you my mind. I said, thank you. And she now sent a voice that she was shocked that I was saying, thank you for the feedback. I really appreciate feedback. It helps us to get better.
Yeah, I had to order before midnight to her. I was like, it's almost midnight, I'll lose the...
She's my friend.
I like to obey the rules.
You guys have
me, I always like to go with the rules.
You have the loyalty card.
Public announcement. This week is Mariah's birthday.
Yes!
On behalf of Mariah, I'm collecting gifts. I will let you know the kind of gift you should send to Mariah to celebrate her because she deserves it.
Honestly, I wanted this to be quiet.
Please,
I just finished making noise from book launch. I beg, let that one to see my finish.
What is your birthday? Once a year.
Party, but just celebrate.
We'll be all right. Let's go on a break. But how was? I asked her how your weekend.
Yeah, weekend I was in Ibadan. It was Olamide Alawakala's birthday. She clocked 40.
Happy birthday to your girl.
Yeah, Queen of Agriculture, Olamide Alawakala. It was a beautiful party. We had fun. My voice is just coming back. I was shouting and screaming, but she got celebrated in a way I truly believe she deserved. So.
Yes,
she's a friend.
Yes, fantastic.
She's a friend turned sister.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yes, happy birthday.
I can't remember how which party I went to this weekend.
Yeah, you went to party this weekend.
I don't remember. I tried to let's go on a break. If I remember after I finished booting.
Layer now.
I remember, so I'm still doing my layer runs. Yes. So I did visit some people on Saturday and Sunday. I went to visit some people. I remember what I did now. Anyway, let's go on a break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with The Nation. Investors 4.35 trillion gain in 1 month boosts economy. Ndume Bamidele bidding for Senate leader post. Presidency rejects EU's 2023 poll report. Gunmen kill pastor, abduct 7 during vigil in Ogun Church. 2 dead in U.S. mass shooting. Chinese naval ships in Nigeria. Rioters raid home of French mayor. Banks collected 8.9 trillion deposit in 12 months. Death toll of Nigerian pilgrims rises to 13.
Wow.
And Zenith Bank on top with $2.54 billion Tier 1 capital. Actor Olu Jacob is not there 180% of the time, says wife, Joke Silva. All right, what story are we starting with in The Nation?
So they said that 6 more Nigerians reported died during the 5 days of Hajj. The Hajj rites in Mina and Arafat, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, had reported. It said this also increased the total number of pilgrims that died in this year's Hajj to 13. So NACON's head of the medical mission, Dr. Usman Galadima, was the one who announced this at a stakeholder meeting in Makkah. And he said 2 Nigerian women were delivered of babies during the 5-day Hajj rites. According to him as well, he said they had 93 emergency cases, which were attended to, including 3 cases of chicken pox. But then they had issues when they went for this year's Hajj. He said there were a lot of, the tents were not enough for all the people who came on that pilgrimage. And the Saudi Arabian agency in charge of the Nigerian pilgrims were saying that the shortage of tents was because they had illegal pilgrims who came in the tent. And Nakon's head is saying that this is not an excuse. They don't have the capacity to chase illegal people who come there. That they realize that the tent used for 43,000 people last year was still used for 75,000 people this year. So they did not make proper arrangements. They didn't have good food to eat. There was no Nigerian touch in the food that was served. The food would come late. The place was looking like a dump site. A lot of people didn't have spaces. They were in the sun for days, and it didn't make any sense. And so they are expecting, you know, the Arabians to do something about this, because most of the people who came for Hajj, who were supposed to have good experience, ended up with very bad experience.
Really the only consolation I sort of have is because I know Muslims feel that when you die in such a place, it's like a holy death or something, you know. So, but really, nobody went there with the intention of going there to die,
to suffer,
you know, or suffer.
All right. So, this presidential advisor on special duties and communications strategy, Mr. Dele Aleke, was saying yesterday he rejected, according to the federal government, rejected the European Union's election observation mission report. According to him, he pointed out that the report attempted to ridicule the country's electoral system and its umpire and INEC. The report criticized INEC for logistics problems associated with the election, its failure to transmit presidential election results in real time, and as well as pockets of violence in some parts of the country before and during the election. Dele Aleke pointed out that they lacked the ability to have enough reps across the country, because according to him, they only had about 40 reps in 36 states, and they're only able to review less than 1,000 polling units when we have about 176,000 polling units. Also, Femi Falana, SAN, the Lagos lawyer, also spoke against the report, saying, "I have found reports in the local media much more credible than that of the EU. According to him, we should not waste our time debating what the EU observers found." However, LP completely agrees with the report, saying that it's exactly, specifically the Labour Party was saying that they gave their support 100% to the EU Observer report, saying that that's exactly what they're trying to do and prove at the courts also. But generally, the presidency had in its entirety rejected the report of the European Union mission report.
Wow. So the major headline is financial and very interesting. They said, Tinubu. So the Tinubu rallies Nigeria to top world's top 3. The economic gains of the past 1 month are surpassed, is at a 15-year high. It's 1 month of amazing investors inflow. The total funding that has come into Nigeria right now is 4.35 trillion naira in just 1 month. And it's attributed to the fact that the policies of President Bola Tinubu's administration has increased the Nigerians' perception, and the trading. The global stock market indices over the weekend showed Nigeria has jumped several steps over the past 5 weeks to become #1 of the world's top 3 performing markets in a 15-year-old high. So this is good news for Nigerian investors and Nigeria as a country, because it means that we're getting more inflow of funds, and the more inflow of funds we have, the less dependent we will be on the crisis we're having with our FX challenges, and hopefully more cash flow for all the governments.
Moving on now to the Punch. Governors battle cash crunch. Picture here of great luck in Lagos Ibadan Expressway on Sunday. Can mourns as kidnappers kill RCCG pastor, 7 churchgoers rescued. UTME top performer manipulated score faces prosecution, says Jamb. Zenith Bank leads Nigerian lenders in new global ranking. NLC to meet Tinubu on the 65-year retirement age. Opposition attacks FG as presidency lambasts EU poll observers. And NNPCL marketers feel vessel arrive next week, says Ipman. Okay, which story are we starting with in Punch?
We have a human interest story. So the Christian Association of Nigeria in Ogun State on Sunday expressed sadness over the killing of a pastor, Kayode Oluwakemi, by kidnappers who also abducted 7 worshippers although they have been rescued as well. So according to the story, they said the churchgoers were conducting a vigil at the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Desires of Nation Parish, when the kidnappers invaded the premise at the church at Abuleori in Obafemi Owode local government area of Ogun State. They killed the pastor and kidnapped 7 worshippers. So Khan is reacting to this, saying that the government needs to step up efforts to stop insecurity, especially around worship centers. Says it's a very sad incident, and it brings to mind different kinds of questions. Does it not mean that is a sin for worshippers to gather to worship God, you know, a place that's supposed to be like their sanctuary, and then things like this happen in those places. So they need the government, who is supposed to be protecting the lives and property of its citizens, to, you know, ramp up support and make sure that this does not continue anymore. I think there was also another one that happened in another state as well. I don't have all the details here.
All right, so the Nigerian Labour Congress is set to engage the president, Bola Tinubu, on the agitation of the extension of retirement age of civil servants. According to this report, core civil servants have been left out, especially after the review by our former president was done for teachers. According to him, they're going to engage the president on retirement for 65. According to the report also, the national president of NLC, Joe Ajero, had tried to engage the former president through the Minister for State for Labour, that's Mr. Festus Keyamo, who said that the process is going to take too long for the former administration, and that this request is coming at the twilight of the administration and could not deal with the matter. They're hoping that this new administration that comes in, they should be able to engage them. So hopefully the conversation will start, and they'll try to get a new retirement age for core civil servants who were left out in the review that was done for teachers back with the former president.
So let me take the major headline with the report on the governors having cash crunch, saying that many governors' internally generated revenue has really dropped. Of all the governors, the 36 states that we have, only 25 states had the report that detailed the amount. They said there was no data for Kwara, Edo, Kaduna, Lagos, Bauchi, Yobe, and Ogun for Q4 2022. However, from the states that had their reports, the highest internally generated revenue was from Delta, that had 40 billion in Q1 2023, followed by Anambra with 13 billion and Oyo with 13 billion. Ondo also did well with 10 billion. The lowest state was Enugu. Enugu State had the lowest IGR in Q1 of 2023, having just 2.32 billion naira. Yet, most of these states have a high debt rate that has increased by 130 billion in the past 3 months, according to the data from the Debt Management Office. The point is, all our state governors have a lot of work cut out for them, and they have a huge assignment of increasing the internally generated revenue in the states. And I'm sure many states, it's my own advice, so they're looking towards taxation, but that taxation would put a lot of hardship on businesses that are already struggling, and the goal should be in facilitating more cash to circulate around and not just shrinking. There's a lot of work.
Taxation is part of how to get revenue.
May they calm down. They want us to stop doing this business.
Can't go into
we will not be able to employ
people. What do Nigerians want?
So I believe that, one, we want taxes have to be paid.
Of course. Around the world, taxes are paid. The major part of
doing payee for my staff, and in doing that, I couldn't even remove from the staff because the money is not enough for them.
You have to go
okay.
It's not a hot topic. Let us break it. But whether we like it or not, we must get used to start paying taxes.
We pay tax.
Get the unofficial ones in.
We'll be right back. Let's go on a break.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing the papers, and we're moving on now to Daily Sun. Presidential election, Tinubu, APC, INEC fight back at tribunal today. IPAC laments growing insecurity in Anambra, berates Toludo. Senate awaits Tinubu's ministerial list. SERAP writes Tinubu 6 spending details of 400 billion naira fuel subsidy savings. Zenith Bank retains position as #1 bank in Nigeria. Presidency rejects EU report on 2023 poll. Austerity. Experts task Tinubu to urgently arrest dwindling economy. PDP National Working Committee meets senators over minority leadership. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Anambra State chapter of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, yesterday lamented the growing level of insecurity in Anambra State. They said they rated the state governor, Professor Chukwuma, poorly. And in a statement by the chairman, Chief Uche Ukwoji, Secretary Uzochukwu Eminent, and Publicity Secretary Chief Matthias Ameke, they said that kidnappers and gunmen and other criminal elements are virtually taking over the state. That after 1 year and counting, the story is not any different. Onitsha, which is the commercial hub of Anambra State, is like a shadow of itself. They said from 6 o'clock in the evening, people have already locked themselves in for fear of being kidnapped or robbed. There are a lot of insecurity lapses in the state. And, you know, they said that the government, that in order to, you know, ramp up taxes, had, you know, employed hoodlums, who they accused to be hoodlums or thugs. And they've been harassing people and extorting them in the name of collecting revenue for it. And even the people in the areas, for them to do their marriages and their burials, have to, you know, take permission and pay these hoodlums to be able to have access to their own environment. And this is not anything to be happy about. They said for children to go out to, you know, pour their refuse away, they have to pay. You pay tax for anything you're doing, because there are hoodlums all around collecting the money. And also, he had promised, the governor had promised to set up the, you know, do an election for the local governments, which after 1 year he hasn't done so far. He just has this unconstitutional transition committee that have been, you know, doing the work of the local government, and they're saying this is against the constitution. The money that the local government is supposed to receive to do work for the grassroots is still being collected by the state government, and this has to stop.
All right, so the Senate, ahead of the ministerial nominations, will be resuming work, and everybody's waiting to hear the names on the ministerial list. If you know, as many of you know, the 1999 Constitution insists that the presidency, from 60 days from the date of inauguration, must provide the names of the ministers, and equal to also the governors must also provide the names of their commissioners. And we're yet to have the names, but people are expecting, and the Senate especially is expecting, that this week we begin to get the names. However, the DSS has confirmed, said that they are still vetting the names of these names being provided, because they don't want what happened during President Muhammad Buhari's time, where we had issues that had either with certificate issues or forgery issues, that they had to go back and forth. So we want to do proper, thorough vetting to be sure that these people are actually fit for the work that they are being recommended to do. Also, so, I mean, the list, according to the report, the list and names is still shrouded in secrecy. There are insinuations of the ministers who will be drawn from the public and private sectors, as well as politicians who played key roles in electing the president, getting the president elected. But many people have been traveling, while the president was in Lagos. We heard that lots of people were flooding his house to bid. There's a lot of lobbying going on. Who made the
but
list?
the names have already been sent to them.
But it's constantly being reviewed and everything. So
you can still find your way.
So hopefully
visibility can still work in your
this week, by God's grace, we are hoping that we get some names at least
Finally.
this week.
Well, because during the campaign, our president, while he was aspiring for office, made us understand that he had a list of people that are competent, that was already, like, who were already on ground. So we knew that.
I remember Mr. Delarake saying that any responsible government within a month should be able to get the list. So we're still waiting for, hopefully in this week, we should get in the names of
So I want to take the story of SERAP, the Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project. I've written a letter on the 1st of July to our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, asking him to publish the spending of the 400 billion naira saved from removal of petrol subsidy. According to them, Nigerians are facing a lot of hardship because of the removal of the petrol subsidy, and they would expect that in furthering transparency within the government, they should release publish how the money that is saved is being spent, I would say reallocated, because sometimes the money that we think is being saved, we never really had the money to spend in the first place. So let's now say that if we did not spend the money, what are we now reallocating it to? They are urging that unless the government is transparent and accountable to Nigerians about how we spent the savings from the removal of subsidy, the removal will continue to, people will continue to undermine that. It will seem like the government is undermining Nigerians and increasing their vulnerability to poverty and social deprivation.
The NNPC also said that the government was owing them money. So it's not as if that the money is being paid immediately. It's part of the money. So just like you said,
you should just explain the redirection. They mentioned that the National Social Safety Net program and the spending of that particular program has been shrouded in secrecy. They will also like the president to publish this information generally. They just want to know more.
Vanguard revealed Tinubu's move against terrorism. Presidency rejects EU's report on 2023 general elections. Zenith Bank retains position as foremost Tier 1 bank in Nigeria. Few subsidy made e-vehicles unattractive in Nigeria. 9 illegal refineries with 1 million barrels per day production capacity uncovered in Bayelsa. For real?
Yep.
Few subsidy removal, forex reforms. Investors rake in 5.3 trillion in H1 2023. Let's see. Ministerial nominees, Oshumbo, Ambassador Musa Mohammed mimic list. 10 Senate opposition to Tambuwa minority leadership bids 12. Anxiety as FG resumes work on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. And Jamb raises alarm over candidates parading fake scores. Okay, which story are we starting with?
The illegal refineries that were uncovered said about 9 illegal refineries sites combined. Total daily production estimated to be more than 1 million barrels have been uncovered in 3 communities in Bayelsa State. So they were uncovered by the operatives of Devon Oil and Security Enterprises, one of the federal government pipeline security contractors in Niger Delta, in collaboration with the Joint Task Force, JTF, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, and the media. So it was carried out, the operation was carried out by Operation No More Smoke. That's what it's called, embarked on by the Devon Security Enterprises. And their plan is to eradicate illegal oil bunkering in this region. So the communities they saw were uncovered in Okodia, Zarama, Biseni in Yenugua local government, and boundary communities of Ibelebiri and Otuege Agba in Ogbia local government of the state. They said the illegal refinery was located 8 kilometers inside the swamp forest of Zarama clan. And, you know, they had to cover hours to be able to get there. And they also found one, said this one had about 15 oven tanks with a capacity of 450,000 liters daily production in Okodia, Zarama Biseni Local Government Council. And they discovered that they were tapping and sourcing directly from Shell Petroleum Development. That's where they put their pipeline. So this is war to all those people having illegal refining and bunkering, and they're saying that government is out to get all of them. So I want to see or hear more prosecution. We need to know the people behind this, because they may just go there and get the workers, the people on the surface. We need to dig deep. Let's see the sponsors of this, because to do all business, you need to have serious money. They are big men.
And back
and
the impact, the environmental impact of this thing is huge.
Yeah.
The people there are suffering because of the pollution.
No clean
There's
water.
leakage when they tap into the Shell stuff.
Okay, so let's move back to Lagos. Motorists are already very worried because the work starts again today on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Express fears as the contractor at the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing resumes rehab work today. Many have already complained about the fact that even, I think it was since yesterday. That was
between Kara and Bega, 3 hours.
As of noon on Sunday, it took motorists more than 3 hours to travel from Ibadan to Ogun State to Otedala Bridge in Lagos due to slow traffic, which ordinarily takes about 15 to 20 minutes. So there have been frustrations, and we're hoping that Julius Berger can hurry up and finish that work there. And we can get from the Ministry of Works a date. Because although they've been moving this since last year, December, anyway, but give us one more date. Let us know, is it the end of July? Just let us know. We can work towards it. It's really, really terrible. And just hope that people can be safe. Okay?
So from Lagos, let's go to France.
What's happening in France?
Yeah, there's been major riots going on in France. There was a killing of a boy, a 17-year-old boy of Algerian and Moroccan parents. And the killing led to major. It was protest, and now it has turned to riots. This is unusual. They even burnt the cars of. They attacked. Rioters attacked the house of the mayor of South Suburb of Leah Roses. And while they attacked the person in the house, the wife and 2 children were inside the house. I'm talking 5-year-old, 7-year-old children. And they ran through the back of the house, and they were still being chased with fireworks were thrown at them. I think they said the mayor's wife might have injured herself, maybe a leg broken. She might need to go through being recovered. The 5-year-old, 7-year-old too were traumatized. Then, because they couldn't access the house, they burnt the mayor's car in front of the mayor's house. Of course, the French Prime Minister has condemned the attack on the mayor's home, vowed to bring perpetrators to justice, but it's really worrisome to see a first world country being descended to this level of anarchy, riots, fighting, looting taking place.
It happens everywhere.
Exactly. So I'm highlighting it so that Nigerians that feel like this kind of thing cannot happen in other places of the world.
That is all I take on front page review. I mean, since January, the insurrection that happened in the US.
Yeah, US. You know that you have everybody.
We all animals.
Give you the right circumstances.
System. Put the system in place to put us in check. So nobody's better than anybody else. All right, that's all we can take on front page review. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So, according to a report, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board said it would withdraw the results of a student who manually inflated her result and announced herself as the top scorer at the 2023 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME. The student even used her manually inflated score to attract a 3 million naira scholarship from Innoson Motors. Now, there are various angles to this because the young girl, according to the head of corporate communications of Innoson Group, Mr. Cornel Osigwe, said, and let me quote his comment, he said, "The girl I met doesn't have the brain and capacity to manipulate her result. There is more to this story. A proper investigation needs to be done. I beg. Let the poor breathe." That girl, according to him, that girl was one of the most brilliant in her school, according to the principal. Her parents couldn't afford to pay for her WAEC and NECO exams. So of what advantage will it offer her to manipulate her Jamb score? So that's from the corporate affairs head from Innoson Group. So they believe that this girl that they met is an innocent girl. There's no way this girl can manipulate. There's more to this story. Jamb is coming out categorically to say that this girl manually inflated her result. We saw her score, it was 249, but she wrote, according to them, 362. So these are the various angles to this story. Now, before we even get to what Innoson Group is saying, what are your general thoughts on if indeed this young girl manipulated the result? Let us see what are your thoughts on it, and then we'll come to Innoson Group's perspective, and the fact that we found out about this when the state government also wanted to support her education. They called Jamb. Innoson didn't. Innoson didn't call Jamb. They called, the Anambra State government called Jamb to verify. And then Jamb said, no, this person you're talking about, so these are our scores. So there's so many perspectives to this, but what are your initial thoughts? Let me come to you, Biachulu.
So when I saw the news, the first thing that came to my head is, well, 249 is past now. What else are you looking for? Even if you want to study medicine, with 249, you can get admission to the school to study whatever you want to study. So that's past. And I also saw greed. You know that you have passed. You are a brainy child. You have been able to hits, go above the cutoff for any school that you decide to go for. Why do you want to be the first when you know you have not earned it? Or is it because of what you think you benefit monetarily? Because, of course, you've gotten scholarship and all of that. So why don't you work hard in the school and, find somebody to sponsor your education? Why do you have to lie? If you had scored like 100 or 102 and you wanted to do that, it's not an excuse. That's also fraud. But you passed. You are intelligent. You can even say, okay, I'm not going to school yet. I still want to write next year and score. This is my target. I want to get 300 and something and work towards it. You will get it. You have the brain capacity to get it. So why the lie? But listening to what the aspect you just took now, where they are saying, looking at the girl, they don't think she has the capacity to do this. I'm now thinking that she may have people behind her who will say, let's reposition you. Let's inflate this so that we can attract something. This is also a lesson for people who would just jump in with any news and decide to start showing public support. Do your findings, do your verifications, ask the right questions so that in things like this, your name is not roped into something you should know. You are a conglomerate. You should make some inquiries before you do that.
To you, your initial thoughts on this?
Okay, so first thing that I would say is, from my analysis of the drama, she's a smart girl. This young lady is smart. She's very intelligent. The principal said she's one of the brightest children in the school. That's one. She got a result probably she did not like, and she felt the result would not give her the leverage she was hoping to achieve. Remember, they said that her parents could not afford to pay for a WAEC and NECO exams, so she had sponsors who probably expected that if you do exceedingly well, we would continue to sponsor you through. And then she did not do that exceedingly well. She just barely passed. 200 and something is you passed. And so she knew for her to be able to get into university, there needs to be a story around her. And so the story was she broke the record. And from just breaking that, saying that she was the highest, she was able to truly get the sponsorship and a lot of that she needed. So there are many things at play. And I feel that a deeper conversation needs to be had with her to understand. She's so small and she's a young adult. I was discussing with my kids this morning that the brain of children, that's right or wrong, is still under formation. And I'm saying this based on neuroscience. It is still under formation, ability to identify right or wrong. They feel like the end justifies the means as long as I'm able to get the scholarship. So the way the media is vilifying her is wrong. Yes, she manipulated the score, but I saw media, online media saying this is the face of the deceiver and put her face there. And this is a young girl whose face, this picture, this article will be there forever all her life. You Google her name, you will see things like this. Can we just tone down our needs to trend and jump on trends and state as a media house or a blog, state the facts. Don't put your opinion in a way that paints her as this is a criminal, a deceiver that manipulated. Until investigation comes out, you might even find out she did not even do anything. Somebody behind the scene, maybe at the place where they get results, told her that, if you don't change the result, you don't get anything. No. How you go university? Let us post it like this. And then the person just did it. And now she's the one on the receiving end of the entire drama.
It's possible
anything could have happened for fun.
There's a part of this story that I find interesting. What Mr. Osigwe said. He said, let the poor breathe. That's really heavy. If you want to think about it, let's dissect that for a minute. Now, when you say let the poor breathe, does that mean that because this person is poor, even if she faked it, let's just allow her, let the poor breathe? Or should we say, let the poor breathe in the sense that, okay, let us help them, or or should we still make this person, how do we bring justice? How do we ensure that this justice is served in this situation? Do we prosecute her as Jamb is threatening to? She's 16 years old. She's a child. 16 years old is a child.
She's not an adult yet.
She's not an adult. So how do you investigate that? So when you say let the poor breathe, how do you mean?
Okay, so I believe that every offense has a commensurate consequence attached to it. And if we don't have it as lawmakers, these are some of the things we must begin to put in place. So if an offense is committed by a minor, there are consequences that are commiserate to what a minor would get.
Yeah.
If it's committed by an adult, if she was over 18 and this happened, there are consequences that an adult will get. We must put that in perspective. And I like where Tope went to. This young girl could have made this mistake. She has her life ahead of her. There were a lot of mistakes that some of us made, but we're lucky that there were no social media. Maybe that would have just marred our lives for the rest. But we were able to still pick up our lives and continue. So we must not throw away the baby and the bathwater. For those of you that like to bathe your baby inside the bath, we must look at all the angles. We must have the right questions. We must see who motivated this. I don't, personally, from the picture I saw, I don't think she will sit down and craft it. It's also possible, but we must be sure that it came from her. And she must understand the gravity of what she has done. She must be punished accordingly to what she has done, and she must be forgiven afterwards. The brain of a child, I was looking through something someday, and I saw this, and they said the brain of a child matures at the age of 28. I did,
the ability to right from wrong.
Yeah, 28. So at the time I got married, I didn't even have sense. So why do we keep rushing these children to assume that they must have sense, they must have it all figured out at 18, 19, 20, when your brain is still developing till the age of 28? These are some of the things I must put into consideration. And also, she needs to see a therapist. I will always revert to that. She needs to see a life coach. If it's a pattern she's already had, because some of these things start really small. You come back from school, you failed some scores, you clean it with eraser. And mark yourself. It starts that way. So we must ask those questions. We must follow through in her schooling to see if she's already started building this pattern before it now got to this point. So that we can better help her. Punishment is not supposed to be for there's something they call it. It's not supposed to be punitive. It's supposed to be for correction. And for a minor, it should be for correction.
I'm going to break because there's somebody that just graduated from school. She's smiling behind you. Let us find out her perspective. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this matter. Tope, you're going to say something.
So, yeah, I was going to talk about the innocent angle that BC mentioned. And the truth is, every business is looking for a platform for adverts. You're looking for free advert, free publicity, free airtime. And before the show, I was saying that Innoson did a good job because guess what? When he gave the money, he got free airtime. Now that there's controversy, he's getting free airtime. People are talking about it. And sometimes it's not about deep investigation. It's about the fact that we are jumping in. A government should investigate because you're spending public funds to support an initiative. You should be sure that this person actually earned it. So they did the right thing. But Innoson is a business owner who saw an opportunity to support a citizen of his state while also gaining publicity with his business. He jumped on it without any, let me dig into finding what the story is. And I think that is a good thing to jump on things like that because we have so many people that have strong stories, like intelligent people that they don't have the money to fund through their school, and they are thankfully social media gives them that platform. They can get the support needed. Other private organizations can also join. Now, other people that bring their stories to the fore will be investigated, like they'll bring in binoculars because now somebody has said the trend of somebody can lie about things like this.
Let me take this call from Atolagwe. Thanks for calling, Atolagwe.
Yeah, good morning, Mariah.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. And good morning to the ladies.
Good morning.
Yeah, in this case, it's a very sensitive case that we have to watch very well. Since they have published it on social media, I will advise the parents to watch out for that girl so that she will not commit suicide, so that because based on what is happening now, so that she will not commit something stupid in the near future. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's exactly. So she's 16. We must remember we're talking about a child. I know even though Jamb is using big words like prosecute, you know, there are ways of saying these things. This will be investigated, and we'll look at all the various adults involved. You know, there are ways that that we should use certain words, because when Jamb throws out a word like prosecution, then people are now thinking you're taking the sledgehammer to kill. Yes, there are a lot of things that... Yes, to kill a fly. So she did wrong, or she did it wrong, either way, but whoever is involved, as Innocent Group has said, let us investigate, let's find out what happened, who could have backed out, supported her to do this kind of thing. That's what we should be investigating. But I don't know how much of investigation Jamb can constitute for this. I mean, this is something that shouldn't that be something, not a slap on the back, but it's got to be a way to correct her, not prosecute her.
Community service is always there for things like this. You will be given a few months to go and sweep the village square, sweep the marketplace.
Or she will resume in Jamb office and serve as an intern, which is a platform.
No, she has to sweep.
She has to sweep.
No, but I like the Jamb office.
Yeah.
Let her resume.
She works there and
like, anybody can decide to, your son can decide to be my PA now. That's work. That's not a form of punishment. So,
or wash the toilets in Jamb office.
Something that is not, something that is a bit degrading to see so that she understands the extent of what she has done, the level of what she has done. So sweeping like the market square, wear their funny uniform, washing like Jamb toilets, doing something for a period of time which will be supervised.
Or make tea for Mr. Fabian.
Making tea is not work. Making tea is not work.
Okay, let me take Babalola. We have to wrap up on this. Good morning, Mr. Babalola. Thanks for calling.
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I want to have some observation to the ongoing issue that the
I can't hear you.
But there was something we're good.
Hello, sir.
I will advise the Jamb.
Okay. We can't hear you.
There was something that you were going to mention. BC mentioned the fact that many people manipulate from when they are small. Someone in the studio told us about the fact that sometimes if I don't like my results, I've turned the report card so that my parents don't know. I just tell them I did well. So
this could have been an error or something.
Yes. Some children have already done a little of these things when they're small, and some parents will look at it that, oh, they're just being children, until the day they will not embarrass you on a national level. So let us as parents observe a bit more. The fact that you don't have time doesn't mean you will not check the results of your children or confirm from the school, not because you don't trust, but because you know what is happening in the world nowadays, and verify that the result is true. If your child comes up and said, don't worry, mommy, I did well, the result was amazing, and he did not submit anything, go and find out, because from that small things, you might discover one day the one that will be very embarrassing.
So those things that you could have just killed within your family, this one is on a national scale.
Your name is now being publicized negatively.
I think we can wrap up on this, but I think in a nutshell, I think, I'm told, so the Jamb spokesperson will join us just to verify for us what their definition of prosecution is, because I need to know what they want to do to this 16-year-old child. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll bring in Mr. Fabian or Dr. Fabian. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, I'm told we have Dr. Fabian. He's the spokesperson for Jamb. Thank you for calling us, sir. Are you there?
I'm there. It's my pleasure.
Good to have you. So first of all, we heard the report that came to us from you was that you were able to confirm that the young lady in question did not score 369, which she had claimed. What happened? What do you think happened that could have caused that change? What happened exactly?
Well, this is very unfortunate, given the age of this particular girl that we're talking about. It's something that one should not even contemplate. But as practitioner in this business of the conduct of public examination, we see a lot of such things. At times, we don't even want to bring them to the public speed, because when we look at the age of the candidate concerned, one of the factors we consider is to see how we can remedy the situation and ensure that the person becomes a better citizen tomorrow, rather than destroying the image or the future of that particular candidate. And we have also made sufficient provision, taking advantage of the community to ensure that the public, at first look, they will be able to decide which results are genuine or not. If you look at the results she's parading, each of our results that is printed, it comes with a QR code. And once you scan the QR code, you will see the true nature of that result, if it actually belongs to that candidate. This result that she's parading, if you go to the net and you print it and you scan the QR code, you will see that that result actually belongs to one as me, Miriam from Mobolanli. And it was an examination that was taken in 2021. And the candidate then scored 138. So what she did was just to manipulate, maybe using graphics, to delete the name, delete the scores, and then impute whatever she wants on that particular slip. So if you just, for any result that anybody presents to you, any Jamb result that anybody presents to you, it comes with a QR code. And once there is no QR code, you know that result is fake. We've had situations whereby people will go and copy a QR code of supermarket and impose it on certain slips and then begin to correct it. And once you scan it, you see that the QR code that belongs to either a hospital or a supermarket or wherever they copied it from. So it's an unfortunate situation. But the fact still remains that whatever result that candidate has got is in our database and nobody can tamper with it.
Dr. Fabian, but there was something that the Innoson group said, that when they saw that girl, there was no way that girl is capable of doing this kind of manipulating these numbers, that she was from a very poor family and there's no way they could see something like that with this girl. How do you respond to that?
Yes, we also believe that, and that explains why we are also digging deep. We know that there are sponsors, there are people that have led her into what she has done. And that is also one of our appeals to her and her parents. That open us, tell us how we came by this thing, because she's just been used. Tell us who is behind this. We know that there are sponsors, or rather there are managers. Those are in the celebrity, in the music industry or whatever. You have people that manage celebrities. There are people that are managing her to achieve this particular thing that she has done, this ignoble thing that she has achieved. And we want to get to that route because we have reported the case to security agencies. She was arrested or rather invited, but because of her age, she was granted bail. And I want to believe that we will get the root of the matter because we know that the act that she has done, she does not look it. She doesn't have the capacity to do that. Let me also explain to you what she did again before arriving at this. When she checked her results, because we have this interface with telcos, for every candidate, one will see that for every registration, you must have a unique phone number. So that when there are situations like this, we can go back to the telcos to see your transaction, your business with us. Okay. We have checked that. We discovered that when this result was released, she actually sent a query, that's a request for her result. And her actual result of 249 was sent to her. Okay. And then what she did was to use that result, manipulated those scores to arrive at the 361 that she's claiming, and then send it back to us. She sent it back to our database using that 55019. What that means is that if you check on our system now, you will see that she used her number to send it back. What I suspect is that her thinking was that maybe when she sent it back, it will not land on the database. Then it will be there. Maybe her only thinking was that maybe it will change everything on the system and that will all be there. Wow. But it only landed as a test message. Yes, it only landed as a test message. So when you go to telco, to her box, you will see that she sent a message. She received the result, the 249, then sent a message of 362 to the box. So you can see that there is something that was carefully done. Denial. People have sat down, planned it, executed it to achieve whatever they are getting now, the kind of undesirable recognition that they are getting now.
Wow. Okay, Dr. Fabian. So if after investigations we find her guilty, you have mentioned prosecution, and we're a bit worried about the terminology prosecution for a minor. What would likely be the consequences or the punishments that will be meted out to her, considering the fact that she's still a minor?
Well, we are also at that crossroads. But one thing we also want to do is to ensure that we act in such a way that whatever punishment we are making out serve as a deterrent to others who may want to also do this. Okay. There are so many of them out there claiming all manner of results. In fact, there was one in Kaduna that came out with 380. But when we went to find it, that candidate never even registered for the purpose of sitting in examination. And because of that, we could not try to find out who is involved and all this. We just say that.
Wow.
So there are so many of them. And if we don't act or don't do something drastic, they will continue to defraud the unsuspecting public. So one thing is sure. Her 249 results will be withdrawn. She's not going to have that result again.
Wow.
So the other thing that we would have done is to ensure that we bar her from sitting the exam in the next 3 to 4 years.
Ah.
Isn't that so
Dr. Fabian,
even if we are waiving one issue of prosecution, the issue of barring her from taking the exam, the issue of withdrawing her result, certainly those ones we have to come. The only way out that maybe justice could be found with Mercy is if she discloses fully who is involved in this particular action. And then we'll go after those people.
But if it was just
keeping quiet,
so
covering those people, which means he's ready to face whatever consequences that will be made.
Wow.
Because you see, there are certain things that if we open up, in fact, the most annoying or disturbing situation of this whole thing is the reaction of some prominent people. I wouldn't want to mention names because people are looking at it from tribal, ethnic background and all this. Unfortunately for them, the highest scorer for this year is still from Anambra State.
Anambra State, yes.
It's still from the east. But with 362.
Coloration.
So there is no any bias towards whatever tribe, section, or whatever. But as for me, that made a lot of things and stuff like that. Without actually even going back to little things to see if they have iota of fact in it. Because once you just check the QR code, the result she's carrying is not me that gave her, it's not Jamb that gave her, she has it with her. If you check the QR code, you will see the owner of the result there. So you don't need anybody to tell you that this thing is not genuine from all ramifications. There are certain features I wouldn't even want to mention online for others. But when you go, there are 17 issues on that result that will tell you that this is completely fake. Has nothing to do with even 2023 examination that we conduct.
All right, let me get a few more questions in for you. Go ahead.
I just want to find out that if your investigation reveals that she did this all by herself, like there was no manager, there was nobody behind the scene, and we're talking about the kind of punishment you were mentioning, wouldn't you feel like we're making a scapegoat of her as an example to other people in such a strong way?
You see, why we found ourselves where we are in Nigeria today is because laws are not perfect. People, do things, disregard these laws, and there are no consequences. And as long as the youngsters, the future generation, grow up with that mentality that, look, I can do anything and get away with it, the nation is completely destroyed. Don't forget, education is the foundation of our development. And these young stars are people that we are looking onto. If wishes with our forces, we want to believe, we want to wish that don't even have any link with some of the things that our generation is going through today. And if we don't begin to handle them with some of these iron seeds and stuff like that, yes, I quite appreciate the angle they are looking at it. But I want to believe that if we can use one person to change millions of others, I don't think it's a bad direction to take.
Dr. Fabian, I agree with you to an extent. I also know that a 16-year-old is a child that can actually be changed. Their mindset can change. So as much as I respect the possible consequences of our action, I'm also hoping that you can reconsider such that, yes, she might have to...
Maybe withdraw the results, but subsequently...
but you can actually also give some kind of way that she can understand what she did, and we're trying to fix the problem, get to fix her, to change her ways. So let's not use that sledgehammer. Maybe you can reconsider it, be slightly more lenient, but understand that she's a child, and hopefully Jamb would reconsider these harsh consequences that you...
No, it all depends. It depends on how remorseful
investigate.
Yes.
That is not the issue.
Right.
If tomorrow she comes and says, "Look, I'm very sorry. I was misled. This and that," we can also look at that. We are also human. We are parents and all those things, and we cannot throw the baby with the bathwater.
Absolutely.
But if she continues to be as hiding as she is, keeping quiet and not telling us how she came back, then certainly we have no option than to ensure that at least we use that to serve as deterrent to others.
Thank you, Dr. Fabian Benjamin. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate this. So, have you heard from the parents, of the girl's parents so far, or you're just talking directly to her?
No, what actually happened is that, let us use this opportunity to commend the Anambra State Committee. Because when in their bid to honor her, they now decided that, okay, let us consult with Jamb. Let us confirm from Jamb to find out if this result is actually genuine. More so that we had released a name that this is the highest score. So that was how we also came into the whole issue and that discovered that Innoson had even given her scholarship, 3 million naira scholarship and stuff like that.
Did Innoson give the highest scorer in Anambra State?
No. This is the highest scorer.
The highest? All right.
But the highest scorer is also from Anambra State. So I will also appeal to Innoson. Instead of giving her, they can just transfer the scholarship to the highest scorer. So the highest scorer is also from Anambra State.
Anambra State, exactly.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Let me let you.
Actually met with the parents. We are dealing with her on this agency on top of the issue. I believe that they will go. I don't want to disclose whatever they have done, so where they have gotten to and stuff like that. But they actually were given to a very appreciable stage.
Thank you very much. Let me let you go, Dr. Benjamin Fabian, spokesperson for Jamb. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with our show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So in the next segment of the show, we're going to be discussing your thoughts on President Bola Tinubu's moves so far, what he's done in the last 1 month, and also possible names we expect to see this week, stroke next week as ministers. People have said we're hoping to see private sector people and public sector people. People are also saying that the leadership he has shown in the last few weeks, 3 weeks or so, has demonstrated a man who is ready to take Nigeria out of the economic hardship that we have. Some others, actually, his critics have, however, said that it's not all about getting international investments. You know, it's not about that your GDP doesn't really change by bringing in more funding. What you really need is to grow inside out, where we need to start developing manufacturers, producing, giving them opportunities for production within Nigeria. That's the real mark for development. Some also have argued that removing subsidy is not the success indicator for us. Now, because the truth, according to some experts, have said that subsidy removal subsidy is required for most a nation that is producing oil. There's a need for subsidy. But some have said the real problem is the fact that government's inability to curb the exportation, the illegal exportation of fuel outside our country. So those are the real issues that you're only you're covering up government's inadequacies of inability to curb the illegal removal of our subsidy and the removal of our petrol to neighboring countries. Instead of doing that, you're now removing subsidy because subsidy is, according to many, is required. What are your own general thoughts? Those are the kind of conversations going on out there. We'd like to hear Nigerians' views on all the various things I've said earlier, on our president, his plans for the economy, his possible names on the minister's list, and also if indeed his current moves will really help Nigeria. Call us on the numbers on your screen, 081-270. 514-678, 091-241-63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. So let me let you start.
So the president, let me start with the ministerial list and the analysis that has been going ahead of the ministerial list. When the president was the governor and his campaign to become president was based on the fact that how well he did as a governor. He spoke about how he knows how to put the round pegs in the round holes. He knows how to pick and build leaders. I agreed because there was precedence. We've seen what he did in Lagos, example of him creating a vision, putting the people that could drive the vision in those strategic places. But another angle is the fact that he's coming in after almost 20 years of being, from that time. And most of the people he took in from being technocrats then have now been politicians for the past 20 years. And I really don't want to see a lot of politicians in the list of ministers. I really want to see technocrats. I want to see people who maybe they have retired from public service, or a lot of technocrats that understand, they understand leadership and have built something substantial with their life before now bringing them into government. And I worry that because of the level of negotiations that took place to make him emerge as the president, we might end up seeing a lot of politicians.
There's always that conversation, Tokwe, and I'll come to you now, BC, because people say, yes, it's nice for him to put technocrats, but technocrats probably didn't get him there. You know, it's politicians.
So how do we find that balance?
Because as much as we want to do these big things in these first 4 years, don't forget that there's a fourth year of elections.
You need a re-election.
You need a re-election. So you can't totally sideline politicians. At some point, you need to consider them. So these are some of the hard nuts
That was
to
why
crack.
I said that when you think back at 1999, when he brought all those teams together, there was no politician or group of politicians that brought him into power. He had a clean slate. But right now, there are responsibilities for him to settle some people. And I want to believe that he has the will to say that I will settle you people, but we also need to deliver on the promises, and I will need these people to be in this strategic position. I'm looking forward to seeing their appointments. And when we see the list, we'll come back and discuss it again.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I personally believe that he understands what is at stake. He's someone who is very good with thinking the future, right? He knows how to balance things in such a way that everybody will be taken care of at the end of the day while we don't move away from the goals. People have said this about him when you work closely with him. I haven't met him before. I haven't worked closely with him. But we can see from the precedents that he has set that he would find a way to bring everybody together. Even those who we felt were upset with him, and, you know, we see them hobnobbing right now. Everybody's smiling, and you're wondering, this man knows how to bring people together. So in terms of getting technocrats, that people that would do the job, I know that that should be, or that would be, his first priority from his precedents. I want to believe that 20 years being off the scene has not changed who he is as a person, has not changed who he is as a goal-oriented leader, that he will still remember the work that needs to be done and fix the right people to do it. And also find a way. No, you must put this is politics. And he plays politics well. So he knows the politicians that he will still bring in. He would also look for politicians that will be able to do the work. Because you're a politician does not mean that you should not do the work you're supposed to do, right? So I know that he will be holding them accountable, that even if I'm putting you here because you have helped me to get this far, you must be able to do your work, because I would ask you that question. And Nigerians are watching, and they will ask you that question.
And President also promised us 35% affirmative action.
Yes.
We're waiting
women
to
and
see.
youths, he told us.
We would like to see, because I would definitely hold him to that. I want to know how many women are going to be in your cabinet, how many young people are going to be in your cabinet. I'm happy that he has a few special advisors who are young. I mean, I think the lady, there's a few others, which is great. But we'd really like to see more women represented in his cabinet as he constituting his ministers. Now, go ahead.
You were talking, after we mentioned the ministerial list, you also spoke about the economy and how there are some people saying that the first moves he's made is not all it takes to make Nigeria work. And to a large extent, it will seem like, you cannot please Nigerians. When the former one did not do it, you say you don't get liver to do them. This one can't do them, you say you no reach. Well, it is the first step in the right direction, but there are many other steps that must be taken to get us to the right place. Because one of the things that has been a problem in Nigeria is not just about the lack of funds, it's about weak institutions. So if we can strengthen our institution, put systems in place, if the institution was strong and there were systems in place, subsidy itself was not the problem. It was the lack of institution or having systems to punish people that were sabotaging our subsidy.
How can trucks be leaving Nigeria and you cannot arrest anybody? And you cannot prosecute. I think BC has been talking about prosecution. You cannot prosecute the thieves. So it's not about removing the subsidies. It's about those who have been stealing for X amount of years. Where are they? Where are their lists?
They've been pointing fingers towards NNPC for many years. That there's something about NNPCL. They're shrouded in a lot of secrecy. What is going on within the NNPCL? Some people are using their figures being pushed there, and we still have not had enough X-raying of that place. They've done forensic reports. I'm even tired of saying forensic. And we hear stories that we don't see getting to the end. So I think that the president has already started right, and I think he also knows that there needs to be strengthening of the institutions to finish what he has started, so that after him, it will not become, we won't go back to the way it was before.
Let me take this call from Prince Momo. Good morning, Prince. Thanks for calling.
Morning, mother.
You're live.
Yeah, monitoring your program, and what I have to say on this, the new policy rolled out by Jamb, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, on removal of subsidy, and another key thing, which is bigger, will have more impact on the economy. It's not about the removal of subsidy, it's the singularity of the pluralized exchange rate. That brings that is the magic one.
Yeah.
What?
The exchange rate.
Which gives, this practice have been for a very long time. So people have multiple exchange rates. Somebody will have access to get forex from the CBN. Then they will get the forex, maybe, for instance, let's say I import steel, and steel is on the import list. I decided to use my bank to approach the CBN. If CBN cannot deal with me directly, I will create an application that I need $2 million to import steel. Then I will be given the $2 million, the naira equivalent will be taken from my account. Maybe on the official exchange rate, which was 460. Now, what I don't need to, because I'm apt to make profit as a businessman, we are profit driven. I will just go to Aboki and exchange it for 750. And you discover the difference between 460 and 750 is about 290 naira.
Yeah.
So from my $2 million I was given, I would simply just be making, if you now multiply 2 million times 290 naira, I will be making per $1. That 2 million will give me about 580 million naira. So why going to China or US to import the steel and be monitoring it from the ICC till it gets to Nigeria? Why will I do a thing like that when I can simply just make 580 million in the GP?
Yeah.
So this practice, people don't know, this is what has been making banks to be making a lot of money, declaring billions, while the real sector of the economy is good. The real sector, that is where the jobs are created. Banks are supposed to be providing services to the real sector, and the biggest source of revenue to the bank is supposed to be loan advances.
Exactly.
But the banks are not advancing.
They're making money in other ways.
And they're making a lot of billions. So now why are they making billions? Let me just use a simple analogy. Just imagine if we have lesser cars on the road and mechanics are supposed to be services providers. And now maybe something happens for whatever reason, cars are no longer running. Then all of a sudden, mechanics are building skyscrapers. There is a question to be asked. So now that President Bola Tinubu had the courage to say no, single window for exchange rate, then the removal of subsidy is even less, but people don't know this. This is the biggest thing he has done to the economy. It's not even the removal of subsidy. It's the singularization of the multiple exchanges. You will see what will happen.
Yeah.
Then finally, my final contribution on this, as an economy, I'm a university trained economist and I've been in business for the past 30 years. I'm a private businessman. And I have a full-time lecturing job with the Polytechnic out here. So I live in Auchi to be specific. Another thing the government needs to do is the minimum wage. The minimum wage should be total and reflective.
Yeah.
Because the purchasing power of the consumer is very low right now. So it is what I can do. A lot of people are managing. For instance, my car. So find my car takes me about 100,000 naira. So when you pay a lecturer, maybe a lecturer electoral theory, for instance, who collect maybe something in the region of 122,000, 23,000. Assistant lecturer maybe in the region of 110,000. Then the person cannot do anything with that money. Transportation is just take it. Whether you own a car or not, maybe you have a family of.
Prince Momo, I think I get your point. Thank you very much.
I enjoyed your analysis.
Thank you very much.
I like the way that he broke everything down. And Nigerians are hopeful right now. The policies that it seemed like the former administration was skeptical about making because they didn't want to be in the bad books of Nigerians were pushed. And, you know, they kept pushing till we got to this point. And the fact that the president was decisive in standing to say, this just has to go, let us see where we are, is a good sign. It's a good sign that there's willpower to do what is needed at the time. But I'm not so optimistic about seeing prosecutions. I don't think I will see, because somehow there are powers that be, that sector, that cabal, that controls things. I think they're so powerful that I don't think the president has the energy to face them head on to say, I want to prosecute. So I'm not looking forward to prosecution, but I'm looking forward to the stoppage of the corruption that has been happening with this removal of subsidy. If we can curb on that, we can save things that we use for other aspects of the economy, the infrastructures that we need, the quality education that we need, the medical health and infrastructure that we need. We can use that for it. But to say that very soon we'll start hearing prosecution of this person and that person, I'm not looking forward to that, because I don't think it will happen.
Well, you'll be happy if it does.
Of course, I'll be
overjoyed
if it happens, but I'm not looking forward to that.
Okay, let me take Hassan from Lekki. Thanks for calling, Hassan.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
This topic is a very sensitive one. You see, I voted for Ahmed Bola Tinubu to become the president of Nigeria because I have a trust in him. And I expected him to replicate what he did in Lagos in Nigeria. That was why I voted for him. But what is very clear, I disagree with him on this removal of subsidies. Do you know why I disagree with him? You don't rob Peter to pay Paul. In the sense that there's nothing wrong with subsidy. The problem we're having with the subsidy is a systemic problem from the government. People within the system stealing, custom, allowing fuel get out of the country. These are all systemic. It has nothing to do with ordinary citizens in Nigeria. Now, you remove the subsidy. What happened to us? We fill our tank before at 10,000, 15,000. Now, I cannot fill my tank with 12,000. Coupled with the robbery that is going on with the filling station, on the dispensary, going on in the filling station. That's number two. Number three is this. You see, I welcome this issue of simple foreign exchange. It's patriotic on its own. You understand? It's a patriotic move. But let me tell you, you must be streetwise. Because what I'm seeing now is this. You should go into the banks. The real elements of Nigeria are the banks. Because the banks are floating in error. And the value of our naira is going down by the day. And our standard of living is becoming much more expensive. So where do you pay this from? You see, the issue is this. You need to go into the system, checkmate the system. Don't just allow it to work like that.
Right.
I'm not think because you are looking for foreign direct investment.
Oh, we lost Hassan. Thank you very much for your comments. You know, I mean, so this debate has been going on of subsidy removal or not. And some have also said that subsidy could be reintroduced, because somebody was saying that you need to stop the pipe. The leakages, yes, we're issuing with leakages. How do you fix a leakage? Stop the pipe first. Stop it from running. After stopping from running, then you now begin to block all the holes, and then you now release the pipe. So possibility might be that the presidency might reintroduce subsidy much later, after you need to put enough systems in place to check all those who are stealing and taking our crude, our refined petrol to our neighboring countries.
Or we put the subsidy on where we really need it. So
fuel is essential, though.
No, developed countries pay cost-reflective for their fuel consumption, but they have a lot of alternatives in terms of public transport. That's one option. Another option is, we've spoken extensively about having food shortage within Nigeria. Food is very expensive. And one of the key drivers of that expense is the multiple roadblock that you are settling, the cost of transporting the goods from the village, the arbitrage between what we are buying. If you are buying a basket of tomato from the village, you are buying yams from Benue, and what you are buying yams in the cities, in Abuja, in Lagos, in Port Harcourt, it is too far. Hundreds of percentage is the difference. So that is not normal. What is causing that?
Subsidies should be redirected.
Is that we should have a conversation on how to properly enhance the economy. I like what Prince Momo said. It shows the level of knowledge he has in the challenges that Nigeria has gone through and how we should best handle it. And I know there are many Prince Momos available to the president to support in the administration. Yes, the fuel subsidy is biting everybody right now. Everybody, there's no human being that is not feeling it. The floating of the naira is biting everybody right now. Nobody is not feeling it. But those were short-term, essential decisions that the government had to do because they were looming like economic shutdown crisis that we had to avoid.
How short should this, because right now we don't know how long we are going to tighten this belt. We don't know how long we are going to suffer through this. Are we saying that, is the government promising that after 1 year we'll begin to reap the benefits of this?
It's not hard to tell because we're still owing subsidy from NNPC. We're still something. So I can't remember the figure right now. So even that savings you think you're earning, we're not started saving it yet.
But we should have projections.
Yeah, but we're getting inflow. So the thing is now we're getting inflow in terms of foreign FDIs, and FDIs have effect. So businesses have money.
Data for that?
Yes, that's the story I took this morning, that we are in a 15-year all-time high, and we've gotten more money in the past 1 month than in the first quarter of this year. So yes, investors are coming into Nigeria. When investors come, it means that more businesses. A lot of businesses packed up, business and employment reduced. So there'll be need for employment, employing more people. Once we employ more people, money will be spreading into the government. If we start producing, that's the next one. When we start producing, if we increase production, we are getting investors to bring in, we're getting dollars, FX. FX is coming in directly. Now, before we were producing, but people were not bringing their dollar into Nigeria. Because if I bring $1, you give me a 490 when black market is selling it at 700. So that's why President was saying that the biggest change is that singularity of dollar. So I can confidently bring my money into Nigeria officially. Many people had money hanging. They will keep the money there and sell to people over
there was a part I wanted us to go into. You know, there was something we said, I think it was either during the campaigns or maybe after the elections, that this government, this administration must earn the trust of Nigerians. So we understand the body language of the president. We see what he has done or what he's doing. But there's still a large portion of Nigerians who don't trust the government.
They're still observing.
And they're still observing from a far distance. Now, to earn Nigeria's trust, you must lead by example from the front. Meaning that in everything you do, not just the president, everybody around him, cost of governance
must be reduced.
Although we tried to talk away the issue of the convoy, it was trended on social media. People said, people just want to come because everybody's trying to lobby this president. They want to be ministers. They all want to go and receive in the airport. Remember me, you see my face, so I'm here. So everybody just went. But those kind of things must begin to change. Where we're having a meeting, it's not all of us that have to go. We cannot be showing this show of power.
Should attend.
We know only those. We need to consciously, sincerely, and deliberately start talking as one body. So you know what? People must see us demonstrate that we are reducing and we're also tightening our own belts. So you can't have 100 cars coming to receive me in the airports.
Not anymore.
Can't have that anymore.
Right now. So before I attend to that, quickly wanted to just harp on something that Tokwe mentioned. Why I was insisting on our local producers is they are also suffering whatever is happening right now. They do not have they're not able to afford most of the fuel, the diesel, transportation has increased, which has been transferred to the cost that the consumers will take on at the end of the day. I took stories 2 weeks ago where they are saying that manufacturers will likely be closing, most manufacturers will likely be closing down shop because they are not able to run the day-to-day costs. So while foreign investment is coming in and, Nigeria's GDP is going up, the local manufacturers are still in this timeline of we don't know when this can be lifted so that we get back to our businesses. And so we must look inwards on how we can begin to help these local manufacturers. The way we can attract, make sure that the money stays here is that we produce more in our country, not just getting foreign goods in. We must be able to produce more. Now, what you talked about, the trust that Nigerians are still...
Let me pause you for a second. I have a call, then I'll come talk to you. Wilson, thanks for calling.
Hello, good morning.
Oh, Umosu, thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. I appreciate you people. Your program today is so quick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, concerning the performance of the president, he's doing the right thing he's supposed to do at the right time. When another president enters, he will do his own pattern. We should not blame anybody now. It's too early to start blaming. I know in future we'll get it right. That subsidy we are talking of is wrong by removing it now or not. Everyone knows that it's a scam. I don't support maintaining that subsidy. For me, the way President removed it, that's the final. Let them use the money of that refinery, that's enough, do our own refinery. That's a billion, trillions, and repair our own refinery. That's for example. Big, some have mentioned about subsidy. They are not thinking how we are going to grow and create employment in our country. We based on Dangote, we are shutting Dangote. It's the same we are partner of Dangote. And we invest under Dangote to make our own money. Selfish interest doesn't sound well in Nigeria. Precisely, his former program, there is something to raise before concerning the girl of Jamb. That's where I want to comment most. Please permit me to say one point in there. Innoson did the right thing by supporting the needy.
Okay.
1. 2. The other thing, like my son now took Jamb. He scored 298. You want to read aeronautic engineering. But where he made a mistake is the school of his choice. That's where he made a mistake. But it doesn't mean he will continue reading engineering somewhere. Later, I believe that he can change. But there is something there. You say this girl now manipulates. Is he the one marking the results? 1. INEC suppose Jamb supposed to give us the correct information concerning that thing. That spokesperson just depends his office. Because without Jamb, we will not get that thing. That result of that year, without Jamb.
Correct him. Mr. Wosu, what Dr. Fabian said was, as a student, you can send a text message to request for your result, which, because they have a relationship with telco, so they're able to withdraw, to acquire the phone number she used to request. From that, they saw the information that she requested. Jamb replied her that she got 249 accurately. Then either her or whoever is with her, or whatever it is, deliberately changed that text message.
And resent it.
And resent it to the Jamb phone number, hoping that it would be maybe somehow inserted in her system or seen as her own, reflected as her own real number, a real score. But that's not the actual score. So there was a manipulation. That's why they kept saying manually altered and manipulated the score. So that's what happened. So as if it wasn't at the point of Jamb scoring. It was at the point of
I appreciate your explanation. One thing there now is that Jamb still has a work to do by setting another question for her, exam for her to sit and defend what they claim that she's caused, than giving her unnecessary punishment. Because that baby,
it's not unnecessary, Sal. It's forgery.
No,
it's a crime.
It's forgery. The girl cannot forge it. Now somebody forged it for her.
They will
She's
investigate.
not here. Let them speak to the girl.
Thank you, Mr. Nwosu. So it's important that we inform Nigerians.
It's a crime.
So if it was something she did was a crime, we are hoping that somebody manipulated her and hoping that after further investigation that somebody else, so maybe they can be more lenient. But if indeed that crime was committed, there should be some kind of a consequence. I'm only hoping that it will be more lenient than that. But
because of her age.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
back to the matter.
Yeah, we're talking about trust and
how
trust. Nigerians want to see the government tighten their belts, like we are all suffering and tightening ours. This is not the time for largesse. This is not the time for getting new cars, getting new, paying outrageous pensions that are not necessary at the moment. When there is a boom, of course, everybody would enjoy. But right now, it must go round. And the government must have people who are skeptical about them. There must be a group of people who are there to monitor, who are there to challenge, criticize every step. But if the government, the administration knows what it's doing, they will have to be steadfast. The only hope is at the end of 1 year, because I don't like to rush people, and we are rushing in most of the things that we are saying right now. We're saying this, we're jumping, we're saying that. Let us wait till the impact comes. At the end of 1 year, we should be able to look back and say, thank God, we have this leader who is leading us into our El Dorado, and not looking back and saying, we wish it was another person.
Somebody was saying something.
So let's be a bit patient.
People keep forgetting that a lot of people are just so used to how government is run, forgetting that it's a new president.
Yes.
The largesse or the fluidity of how things used to happen. You just go to Abuja. I think it was even Ben Bruce that tweeted. He said, this guy is different. If you just some people back in the day, you come to Abuja, you maybe get a hotel, you lodge around that, you get a few friends who are giving you either the access to CBN vault, you're doing, all those things that used to happen back then. It's different now.
Wow.
There's a new sheriff in town. So the largesse you think that is available is not there. And lots of people are lobbying to be ministers around him. They might not even get it. You might look over you ahead. So we're all waiting, because the truth is that every single move this president makes, people are watching.
People are watching, yeah.
And he needs to be very careful.
Which is why we should pray for our leaders. And I know that it will seem like we've been asking Nigerians to pray since forever, and it seems like the more we are praying, the worse the situation is getting. But we wouldn't stop praying, because let your mouth be blessing your country, not cursing your country. Let your mouth be blessing your leaders, not cursing your leaders. If our president succeeds, and I pray he succeeds, we are all benefiting.
Yeah.
And it will not fail. But if that happens, we would all be feeling it.
Yeah.
So let us be conscious of that. Yes, deal with the situation. If you see a policy that might be going bad, shout and talk about it, but always ensure that you're speaking positively.
Let me take this call from Femi. I'm calling from Abuja. Thanks for calling. Our final caller.
Hello.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. Yes, concerning the Jamb issue, I want to say that Dr. Fabian is a liar. Because it is not true. This is technology we are talking about. How can she send back to their server? I was listening to him, and I looked at him and said, does he think we are fools? They let them admit that they've made mistakes. Simple. If you were to be another client.
Hello, Mr. Femi.
I don't think Mr. Femi heard him. He said she sent a message back to the short code thinking it would get to their server. But he didn't, because it doesn't work that way. That was
so
what
they were going by the data from the telcos to see what the activities.
She replied that message,
It's amazing.
but it didn't get to them.
Yes.
We listen with filters.
Yes, we all listen with filters.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's important that I know we don't trust the system. I know we've heard so many things about the system. We feel like everybody there, they are corrupt.
Telco will give you a report. Your job is just to look at the report. Who did she send the message to? Who did she receive from? And that's what Dr. Faber was telling us.
Yes.
You know?
So please, and you know what, we are discussing largesse and all of that, but you know, this matter of not trusting or disbelieving the system is a major issue, and I always take Serap's stories because Serap's stories are very, very important. Serap was saying something. Serap said that they wanted transparency on all the expenditure, transparency on all of that, and I think that the government, the last government used to sort of see Serap as a sponsored company, a sponsored NGO. Please, Serap gives us a platform to checkmate what is going on. So please reply Serap at every point in time. Let us know what you're doing. When you have your meetings, eat local biscuits or don't eat biscuits, because some people cannot afford biscuits. You know, don't even let it be obvious that see our fake meeting right now, there's no budget.
Imagine
you eat from your house or you bring your refreshment.
That one.
See,
imagine.
It's small, but it's a body language that would carry a lot of response. And don't just say it, do it and back it up consistently over time.
These videos we are seeing of all these dignitaries going to go and see our president, even our president. Oh, they're all wearing Adire clothes.
Yeah.
Imagine all of them wearing Adire. What you are telling, what you are influencing is a deliberate.
From me.
No, but imagine, but it's a deliberate action where you know we are all wearing Adire. Everybody don't want to enter this Aso Villa. You must wear Adire. You know those little things, as small as it sounds. These are things that it's just deliberate action. The way everybody said there's a change in where we do things.
We're not eating basmati.
We're not doing basmati.
Yes. We're eating ofada
rice
and the local rice.
Right. You know, imagine now they just start bringing in cars from Innocent Group, saying Innocent cars. All the Toyota sell it.
Fall in line, trust me.
You've earned Nigerian trust. Just let us see Innocent
fall in line.
And I heard that the new Nigerian vehicles now coming. It's only Innoson we know for now, but the other Nigerian assembling cars.
There's Nord.
NORD.
NORD is owned by a Nigerian. I'm not a fan. I'm sorry. I'm not a fan of the
assembling
Chinese companies and Indian companies that are assembling here. I think it's good, but for Nigerian. If you're Nigerian owned, I am 100% more loyal to a company that the CEO and the founder is a Nigerian than the one that they came in. And I am allowed to be partial because guess what? They have a policy in India. They would pick Tata over any other vehicle because it's owned
that's
by
what Nigerians want to see.
So I want to see that, and I will speak for it. So as any other Nigerian person that is doing car, you can send it to me in my DM. I will mention them on TV. I don't know all this.
Everything Nigerian. We're Nigerians.
I mentioned Innoson because that's what she knows. I mentioned not because I saw them and I read their story. I know what they do. Any other Nigerian person that is a founder doing made in Nigerian cars, we would support them because we are patriotic and we want to see Nigerians succeed. And
they do their meetings. We only see Nigerian made stuff. You know, these are things that you demonstrate that we are going local. Not that one day. All right, I think that's all we can take on today. But I think as Nigerians, we are quite optimistic.
Yes, we are.
This is an important week. This week or next week is really crucial because we're hoping that the lists will come out. We know who our ministers are. We dissect it, understand that who are they, where they born, which school they go to, are they economists, what's their track record. We dissect it here. Let's hope that this week we get that information and exciting times ahead. That's all we can take on today's show. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.